Hello Pirates, this is Yun for the 100 Tips of the Plunder Pirates. In today's video, we are going to find out about, is it worth recruiting the heavy gunner? Being heavy, it's about something about expectation. It's heavy gunner, you know? Will it be heavy or not? Let's try to check it out. Okay, now let's try to check out the heavy gunner's status. Okay, his hard cost is 8,000, which is about 11 times more expensive than the gunner. But the damage is only 12, toughness is only 280, and the range is only 3. While when we check out the gunners, let's try to check out how he is till today. His hard cost is only 700, but the damage is 52. Do you remember the damage of heavy gunner was only 12? The toughness is 95, and the range is 5. Remember, the heavy gunner was range 3, like you can see here. So 12, 280, and 3. Is it worth it or not? I'm not sure. Okay, but let's try to check it out. Anyway, on this game, it's really hard to talk about is it worth it or not because it depends on the upgrades that you have. But the damage was only 12, so to reach 52, the same as the gunners, that means you have to upgrade this 10, 20, and 30. Until here. If you upgrade until here, it's going to be exactly identical to the gunner, which is 52. But to do so, to reach until a damage of 52, that means you have to upgrade all these kind of skill trees till here. And let's try to add up how much that is. Okay, let's start from this 10. And it's going to be 1.6 million, 1.8 million, 2 million, and 2.2 million. And 2.4, and that's a lot of money. When you add it up, it's going to be 16,400,000 RUMS, and that's a lot of money. Wow. While the gunners, when you see the gunners, it's already upgraded to damage of 52, so why not just use this one instead of upgrading the heavy gunners using 16,400,000 RUMS. Let's get back to our game, the Plunder Pirates, and try to test this heavy gunners at the real battle. Okay, now let's see the replay with the heavy gunners. So I included 4 heavy gunners at the battle. Let's check it out on the video. Okay, so this is gonna be quite nice for a test. So with the brutes at the front, and when you see closely now, the 4 heavy gunners are now arriving, being deployed at the beach. But when you look at about 2 o'clock, boom, got hit. Another hit from the mortar at the 2 o'clock. And that's it. See carefully. It's too far away, right? Okay, so the last heavy gunner just has been fallen. And that was it for the 4 heavy gunners. Okay, so as it was too far away, let's try to see a little bit more closely. Let's zoom in the video. Okay, so the brutes are at the front, and the heavy gunners are now arriving. So I was expecting, so they're going to be the game changer of this game. And this was my first look on the heavy gunners. Yeah, they're doing fine till now, but until the mortars has shot, and it's been killed by this cannon. I mean, cannon is not that strong, but with this mortar again, and the last mortar, let's see the slow video of this, and then bang, they're dead, like that. I mean, this is so vain. They're just dead like that. It's so. And while, as you can see, the gunners are still alive and they're still shooting, while the heavy gunners are all dead. They're massacred. So I made another experiment with 10 heavy gunners versus 50 gunners. So I made this kind of a comparison video to check out who is better. Let's try to check it out. So let's try with the heavy gunners first. At the tavern, let's try to click as much as we can. So the tavern slots requires 5. So that means you can make only 10 for one fight. And that's gonna cost you about 80,000 RUMS because you're making 10. Will it be worth it? Let's try to check it out. So here they comes out. Okay, so they're gonna be our experimental units. Okay, they're jumping around. Let's try to plunder them and deploy them in a real battlefield. Okay, let's try to plunder. Now let's try to find an appropriate enemy to plunder, and let's look at this kind of base. But I think this is too much. He's too strong. Let's try to find another another enemy. Not this guy. Not this guy. Yeah, this guy looks quite nice for an experiment. Let's try to deploy 10 heavy gunners at the beach. Okay, so this seems quite nice place to deploy. If the gunners are deployed, this is going to be really easy to break down and tear down and go close to the fence. Now let's try this. It looks cool, right? The 10 heavy gunners are shooting with this heavy guns, and it looks quite nice, but I don't think that's quite strong enough. They're still shooting the RUMS storage, but it's still not breaking, tearing it down. And then now there's a lot of hits from the cannons and from the mortars. Okay, will they be close enough to the fence and go through these kind of layers of buildings? But unfortunately, they're already all dead. As you can see in this video, they didn't even get close enough to the fence yet. They're all dead. That guy was the last one, right? Okay, so we have this last unit shooting really lonely here at the left corner, and he's only the live one because he was out coverage of the cannon, so he was out range. That's why he's alive. Okay, so that's the last of us. Haven't played this game. This is quite nice. Anyway, that guy's the last of us. Okay, now he's shooting, but the problem is he's in the range of the cannons, and he is dead. They didn't get even close to the fence. This doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's try another experiment with the gunners only. So at the tavern, please click only the gunners. And how much we can make? We can make 50. And that's gonna cost you 35,000 RUMS. And actually, the heavy gunners cost 80,000 RUMS. But with only 35,000 RUMS, you can make 50 gunners, and there are going to be today's heroes. Let's try to check it out in the plunder. Okay, let's try to find an appropriate enemy. Not that good. Not that good. Will this be good? No. 173,000 RUMS. Not that bad. And they have this two identical symmetrical beach. So let's try to deploy 25 at the south part and 25 gunners at the north, and let's deploy at the same time. And let's try to spread them out as much as possible. So I think this is a really good thing about the gunners, because as you have seen in the previous video of the heavy gunners, they cannot spread out. They have only 10. But them, they have 25 and 25. And the cannons and the mortar is going to be really busy to take them out. So let's try to check out. Okay, 25 gunners are shooting, and they're now in purple, and like a steam pack in a StarCraft. So I think that means the damage is going to be higher than 52. So it's way better than the heavy gunners. And now they're already going through the fence. So it's much better than them. You know, remember the heavy gunners, they didn't even get close enough to the fence. And also in this game, they had some buildings at the front as a layer, protection layer, but they are already inside the fence. They have been already taking down the pirate hall, and then they're taking down the last, no, not the last cannon, but, and that was the last cannon as I remember. Okay, so they are now taking down, and now they're going out from the fence. So how many are alive? About 8, 10? So I deployed about 50 gunners, and now about more than 10 gunners are alive, and they're shooting the gold mines. I think that's the last building. Get total destruction. So what I expected was the heavy gunners must have been like jumping like that, but with a victory, but that was totally failure. To conclude today's story, 10 heavy gunners versus 50 gunners. Who were the winners, do you think? Of course, it was the Gunners. So it was about 80,000 RUMS versus 35,000 RUMS. So which one will you choose? It depends on you. So please subscribe for further updates, and you're going to be really convenient because when you subscribe, you're going to have some kind of update notice in the YouTube automatically. So please subscribe, and thank you for watching.